Good morning, Cece Cheney here, and today we're talking about adapting our home-based business in a changing sort of online environment. And do you ever kind of feel just overwhelmed by all the changes in your business, right? Can you relate to that? I know for me, I am always hearing about new Facebook algorithm changes and, what do you need to do to prospect on Facebook versus prospecting on LinkedIn versus prospecting on another platform, right? So there's all of these things that you have to kind of figure out. And should I be using chatbots? Should I be creating a funnel? All of these things that are changing the way that we do our business, right? It's very different than the home parties and the in-person prospecting that we're sort of used to, right? The environment in our businesses has changed, right? And that can be really overwhelming. Does anybody relate to that, right? So the reason that I wanted to talk to you guys about this idea of this changing online landscape is because my physical landscape, right, the area right around me is changing quite significantly. And so I know I have told you guys, I used to live in Texas and I've since moved to another country. And I have the incredible benefit of living in a place where there's food growing all around me, right? And so I have plantain trees and grapefruit trees and tamarind trees and all of these great things, right? And when I first moved here, the thing that got me really excited when we talked to our potential landlord at the time was this mango tree in our backyard, right? Our landlord told us the story of this 150-year-old mango tree that one of his, ancestors had planted, right? And over 100 years, it has been feeding their family. And I thought that was such a beautiful story. I almost got a tattoo that was sort of inspired by that. And that was one of the sellers for me. Like, oh my gosh, I get to be a part of this 150-year-old history and enjoy some mangoes, right? So I got really excited about that. But things have changed. Over the last week in my backyard, there has been a team of landscapers, I guess would be the word that you use for that, who have been cutting down that tree, right? And that was like very overwhelming to me. Like there was this history there, and things have been working for so long, but things started to change, right? The landscape began to change. And, we had a visit from the agricultural department because we have had some really heavy storms and trees have been coming down around the neighborhood. They've been falling on houses. And so they started doing some inspections to kind of see like what we needed to do to keep everybody safe. And what we found out is that this beautiful tree just hadn't adapted to the landscape. We'd had some El Niños and La Niñas, right? So we had some extended dry seasons, and we had some really heavy rainy seasons that had impacted this tree, right? Our last mango season, we didn't get a single piece of fruit off the tree. And this is the first time in the few years that we've lived here that we didn't get anything. And we learned that was part of the problem, was that the seasons had sort of changed, and that had been an issue. Additionally, the soil hadn't been taken care of as well. So that was an issue. And then we had a neighbor who had a bug problem, some ants or something, some special type that was attacking some of our fruit trees, right? And so there's all of these things happening in the environment. And although this tree looked big and beautiful and healthy, she was struggling. She was struggling to adapt to this new landscape, right? And so the reality is that they decided that it was important that she get trimmed because she was at risk to falling on our home. And so now she's just literally, the trunk with no limbs, right? She just didn't quite make it in her environment. And that is something that we have to be so careful with in our businesses, right? I don't know about you guys, but I'm a little guy in my business. It's just me. I don't have the benefit of some huge conglomerate, right? Some mega company with some mega budget to keep my business going. It's up to me to adapt to the changing online landscape, because I think that is the change that we are seeing within our industry, is that we're, instead of doing a lot of the face-to-face, belly-to-belly marketing, we're doing a lot more online. And so how do we adapt to that changing environment? Should I have a Facebook group? Are fan pages dead? How do I advertise online? Should I have a funnel? Do I use a chat bot? Or should I, have an autoresponder? All of these things that are required to build an effective business online are things that we really have to change and adapt to in our businesses. And so if you are struggling with some of those changes and some of those adaptations that you have to make in your business for it to be successful online, I highly recommend that you check out the link that I've posted in the description box above, so that you can really change and make the adaptations that you need for your business. And that is really the message that I have for you guys today. If you've got any questions or any concerns, feel free to shoot me a message, but I will chat with you soon. Ciao.